Hey, it's Mazzy. Welcome back. Record Store Day, Black Friday is this Friday. Depending on when you're watching this video, maybe you overslept and it was last Friday, or it could be a year from now. But I want to showcase 6 jazz records that were sent to me by the several labels here, the various labels. And I only showcase records that I really enjoy listening to. So I do get some free records, and when I do, if I like them, I'll showcase them. I don't showcase everything, but that's what it's about, showing records and being introduced to music, especially. There's a series of records here produced, put together, curated by Zev Feldman. Now, he's the jazz detective, and several of these are his babies here. And I'm gonna, at the end of this video, there's gonna be a link to a video I did, I think 6 months ago, prior to the last Record Store Day, where I did an interview with Zev Feldman about some of the releases at that time. But I'm gonna start out with Ahmad Jamal, Emerald City Nights. This is the third of a series. Last time, he put out these two, and these are really wonderful records recorded in Seattle at the Penthouse, beginning in 1963, 64, 65, 66, and the last one ends up 66 through 68. The Penthouse, before my time, was probably one of the premier jazz clubs on the West Coast, obviously outside of San Francisco and LA. The building has long been torn down, and literally they paved paradise and put up a parking lot. There's a parking lot there now in Seattle near Pioneer Square where this was. I believe it was part of in or near next door or adjacent to a hotel. But these are recordings from, for the most part, I think Sunday night radio broadcasts, and they're excellent recordings. These are the 3. So if you have these 2, you cannot not buy this one. So I really highly recommend it. It's more of the piano trio, a couple different lineups from the various 3 years. My only criticism of these, okay, you start out with the green tint, you go into a blue tint, which looks, well, maybe it depends. Maybe it's my light here. Looks a little more purpley blue. Of course, I can tell there it's more blue. And the new one is purple. We're talking about nighttime scenes and nighttime visuals. So these are really, really close. I almost would have gone a slightly different direction. But hey, it's only the covers, and it doesn't really matter when you put these all together, and it's just the years and the period. And of course, Ahmad Jamal was an amazing piano player and would return every year and several times to the Penthouse. I did see him at the Keystone Corner in the 70s, so after this period. I'm a fan, and this is Ahmad Jamal. These are really well done records. Again, well mastered. Bernie Grundman cut these. In fact, I think Bernie Grundman cut a lot of these records I'm showcasing today, and he did a magnificent job on these. Show the gatefold, very reminiscent to the last 2. You get a sense of the environment of what was going on. What I like in particular is the mixed wine drinks. So obviously maybe not a full bar, but mixed, well, maybe. Okay, there's the Penthouse Flip for $1.25, Loganberry Flip for $1.25, One Step Beyond for $1.25. You can get away with $1 with the Oh Yeah and the Ariba Rocks. Now, I'm sure the labels and you don't want me to talk about cocktails when I can talk about the music. But you'll hear a little clip. Ahmad Jamal, a favorite of mine. So this would be high on my Record Store Day list. Now, next is a personal favorite of mine because I like really good vibes, literally, and that's Cal Tjader. Cal Tjader, like myself, was born in San Francisco. He's actually was a drummer for Dave Brubeck, and he started playing the vibes and worked with various artists, including George Shearing and others. And this is a recording, again, another from the Penthouse. This is also the Jazz Detective curated by Zev Feldman. Catch the Groove, live at the Penthouse, 1963 to 1967. This is a triple record set, so this is a beast, but this is really good. Now, some people are into the vibes, but I'm all in. Any kind of vibes are good for me. This one has a lovely book outlining a little bit about Cal Tjader. You can see the tape, again, mastered by Bernie Grunman. There are wonderful essays in here. Now, I did see Cal Tjader too, because he would play obviously a lot in San Francisco. He started out as a traditional jazz artist too, and he was on Fantasy Records for a number of years, and then he started doing these Latin records, and the Latin records exploded. Obviously, Soul Sauce, I think he did for Verve Records, and a bunch of Latin-based records, and they outsold his traditional jazz records. I think he did one West Side Story, songs from West Side Story, that did very well. But he was one of the bigger artists on Fantasy Records, the Berkeley-based label, for many, many years. That's the drummer, right? That is Armando Peraza, who played with on these tracks here, on some of these tracks here. But there's essays and articles by Eddie Palmieri talking about, and Gary Burton. Gary Burton, I have several of his albums on ECM, another great vibraphonist, and just an amazing artist. So Cal Tjader, this is again live at the Penthouse again. Here's, you can see one of the posters of one of the shows there, and one of the advertisements again. First Avenue at Cherry down in Seattle. So we got a little Seattle thing going here. This is a trifold record, Catch the Groove. It's a groovy thing. The Latin vibes, to me, are so beautiful. I pick up, there's a lot of his records on OJC I picked up over the years, but the recording here is really beautiful. Of course, again, these are from live broadcasts. I believe most of them were Sunday. I didn't read through everything. They come in polyline sleeves, so you're good on that respect. And the sound of these is awesome because they are radio broadcasts. So Cal Tjader, again, from the jazz detective, Zev Feldman. There's always a Bill Evans every year, and this is from Elemental Records. And Zev Feldman, again, crosses over and puts things out through Elemental. In fact, these are also from Elemental. So there is a cross-pollination here. Jazz Detective, Deep Digs. This Bill Evans is an excellent recording. This is from 1964, recorded live in Copenhagen with Chuck Israels and Larry Bunker. And it's a beautiful, beautiful recording. You get the feel of the room, but the piano is right in there, and it's well balanced between the bass and the drums. Again, Elemental, these are numbered. This is 2245 out of 5,000. Anything with Bill Evans, this period of Bill Evans is so cool. This is a single LP this time, and this is Tales, live in Copenhagen, 1964. An excellent sounding record. Next is a double album. Chet Baker is another artist that gets a lot of Record Store Day and Black Friday reissues. This is again is Elemental, but it's also Crisscross Jazz. Now this is a wonderful record. This is a little unusual from Chet Baker from my point of view. This is later in his life in 1985, and he was great. His records that I have from the very end of his life and through 1986 and Let's Get Lost are just amazing records. His playing never dissipated at all. There are 2 tracks on here with vocals. Everything else is instrumental. And the 2 tracks actually are the same song. It's My Foolish Heart that he sings, a 9+ minute version of it. And then there's an alternate take that ends side D on this record. But what's interesting about this, this is featuring Philip Catherine. I was not familiar with Philip Catherine, but it's jazz guitar. And I don't recall, and someone pointed out, I mean, I'm sure he's done it before. I don't remember any records in my collection. Oh, maybe the Jim Hall record, right? I'm wrong here, Maslov. Wake up, Maslov. But with him with jazz guitar, it's few and far between. And this is a beautiful recording. This is a studio recording, recorded in the studio in the Netherlands in June 1985, and it's brilliant. It's a really sweet recording. His trumpet playing is good. The interplay between the guitar and obviously his trumpet playing is great. And even his late period voice, it's just so soothing. And I'm a fan of Chet Baker Sings and his vocals. Some people I know are not. It's a little too, I don't know, they don't seem to dig it, but I think it's a really sweet thing. But again, this is only 2 cuts, the same song, 2 versions of it. And this is again on Elemental Music, Crisscross Jazz, Chet Baker's Chet Choice, featuring Philip Catherine on guitar. I'm going to switch it up a little bit here, and this is a release, again, from Elemento. Elemento's been putting out a lot of reissues as well, not just jazz records. Some rock and roll records they've been putting out, some I've gotten, and I haven't heard everything. And this is a fabulous record, and I've heard this record, I haven't heard it in years though. This is John Lee Hooker on Bluesway, and this is John Lee Hooker live at the Cafe A Go-Go, which is part of ABC Records in the 1960s and 1970s. This was originally released and recorded in 1967, and it's just that is a sweet period of John Lee Hooker. He also opened a club which still exists today. Obviously, he's no longer with us, but the Boom Boom Room, really across the Geary Boulevard on Fillmore from the Fillmore Auditorium. And if you get a chance, go have a drink there. They have live music there frequently. But the recording on this is so good. Now, this is kind of a blues, just a blues lovers, that Chicago blues 2 lovers paradise here. You got John Lee Hooker. You got Muddy Waters on some of it. You got Otis Spann, Sammy Lawhorn, Luther Johnson, Mac Arnold, Francis Clay, and George Smith on harmonica. This is a fantastic blues record. And you feel the club, you feel the intimacy of the club, not a large venue. The Cafe A Go-Go, just a cool record, and I'm glad it's being reissued. This particular one, again, polyline sleeve, no colored vinyl today with the jazz. The jazz artists and the blues artists are, they don't really have to go with those gimmicky colored records, but it emulates somewhat of the Blues Way label with the Elemento in there. This is a stereo recording, and it's really a wonderful record.
Said I wasn't gonna get married no more. When my first wife left me, I said I wasn't gonna get married no more. I started drinking and gambling, traveling both night and day.
Lastly, from Resonance is Wes Montgomery. Now, this is an expanded, this is the unissued halftone recordings, Wynton Kelly Trio with featuring Wes Montgomery. This is more of an archival release. I would say this is the release of all 3 of these that you feel the room. So you're not going to get that studio perfect recording on that, but it's a fantastic performance. And there's going to be a clip here so you can get a sense of it. I'll put 2 clips and run out the end of the video with this. I'm a huge fan of Wes Montgomery. I love all Wes Montgomery. Some people feel the later Wes Montgomery, when he went to CTI, got very slick, but it got very popular. California Dreamin', Day in the Life, all those records on CTI. But what a great guitar player. Of course, he did some things with the Montgomery brothers, his 2 brothers, also jazz artists. This is, again, a triple gatefold with a fantastic inset separate book. I believe this one, all the records came separate, not pushed in the sleeves. I know people always complain about thicker, heavier records with split seams. Nothing of that is here. They put them separately. But this is a wonderful essays here on Wes Montgomery and these sessions at the Half Note, one of the more famous jazz clubs there. There's also essays on here by Herbie Hancock writes an essay on Wes Montgomery. Bill Frisell, great guitar player, who was very influenced by Wes Montgomery on here. And Marcus Miller. I just think this is an amazing archival collection of Wes Montgomery's work. There you go there. So that's it for Record Store Day, the Half Note Club. This one was produced for release by Zev Feldman. Sorry, Zev, I almost didn't give you credit on this one. And of course, Matthew Luthans did the sound restoration LP mastering on this particular one. Thank you. I want to thank Zev and them for sending along some of these records, and that he's really kind of coming up with some interesting recordings and digging deep into these archives and unreleased tape things, and around the world, Europe obviously, and the States here, and then dealing with the estates, the record labels, whoever may or may not be attached to these artists and their estates. So thanks for watching. We're going to close out with some Wes Montgomery here, and I'll see you next time. Record Store Day coming up this Friday, and this is the jazz edition. Mazzy loves you.
What's our next tune, Wes?
Blues.
Yeah, a lot of blues. Probably take us out to the end of the show. Blues.